HinoKami versus Project Slayer. So I know recently y'all been hearing about a new Demon Slayer game on the uprising again, which is named HinoKami. HinoKami is basically Demon Slayer RPG 2, but it's totally revamped and it's new, so it's basically what's called Demon Slayer RPG 3, but they recently changed the name because of some reasons. So just so y'all don't get confused or think it's just Demon Slayer RPG 2 that's just getting a major update, no, it's a completely entirely new different game. But a lot of people have been questioning, is HinoKami going to be better than Project Slayers? A lot of people have opinions like the combat isn't going to be Project Slayers, this and that, but they are par with the same visuals and aspects of certain things. Let's talk about it a little bit more. HinoKami basically have way more things, as in they got good visuals, they have elements of boss fights that looks like there's destruction, as you can see right now that I'm about to pop up. And as you can see, we have the being and monster fish demon right here, and as you can see, there's destruction in the background. You can see destruction, you can see him lunging at the person trying to get them, and honestly the atmosphere too also looks really nice for this Demon Slayer game. I'm not gonna hold you, no gassing, no anything, not even writing, I'm just saying how the quality of this actually looks pretty nice. And there's also something else that I could actually really like too. As you can see, he's in a winter biome, and as you can see, he's actually freezing, like he's shivering and things like that. You can actually see the little icicles that's on his body and him just like shaking because of how cold it is. Now that attention to detail right there is actually really nice. I'm not even gonna hold you. Y'all can't even lie and tell me that this right here doesn't fit well with this atmosphere in the background and for the winter biome. It makes sense. You can't lie, it kind of makes sense. And it looks like they're gonna have the same thing that Project Slayers also already had, basically mentors and training, which you have to defeat like your mentors to get your full breathing from them and stuff like that. It kind of almost reminds me of it too, because Project Slayers also had the common drops and people that's attacking boss with you and things like that. So I do find that pretty interesting. I know it's pretty common. I wouldn't really say that they copied from Project Slayers exactly, but they also have the same thing like this where you have to defeat a mentor to get things. Now this right here is what a boss fight is actually going to look like, which is pretty dope. I like how they actually have, like, I think it kind of parries, or it kind of like dodges your attacks too, so it's not like they're just like running straight towards you. It's just them trying to predict your movement and trying to predict their attacks and your attacks, or it could be a right time to attack you. So it's pretty much, I'm going to assume, smart AI for bosses, which is pretty nice. Now I know there's one thing we could all agree on. Visually it looks really pleasing. Like visually it looks pretty great. Now a lot of people would think, oh, it's only in sneaks, it's not going to look like this in game, but I'm really thinking like these people are actually going to like cook and they're going to make it just like the game, to be honest, because RPG 2 wasn't even that bad, let's be honest. It didn't really have flaws, it had some balance issues and things like that, but overall I really think these guys can make a story with their game while having good PvP and certain elements in the game that will actually make it look good. Like, come on, they already have the Infinity Castle, which looks pretty nice. Speaking of quality, if you want more quality content like this, the only thing you have to do is leave one like and subscribe. It really helps me a ton and really puts this video out there for most of my videos. Project Slayer's been around since 2020 to 2023. The reason why I'm only saying 2023 is because Project Slayers have stopped updating entirely in 2023 after update 1.5. But until sometime around came and they announced Project Slayers 2, because Project Slayers 1 basically had some bad coding that UWAP could have maintained. He said that in announcements. Project Slayers was one of those games that people would call a GPO clone because it had almost the same quality as GPO, but with, Demon Slayer elements. Basically, what I think about this, I mean, it is kind of like that, but in my opinion, I feel like Project Slayer is better than GPO in combat wise. Now, don't get me wrong, Project Slayers didn't have the best combat, but they had decent combat that you can at least keep your mental half of the time than GPO. There was always one thing about Project Slayers though, I'm not even gonna lie. They had some nice visuals for breathings, they had some nice elements in the game that actually looks pretty nice and did fit the Demon Slayer aspect and things like that. The one thing it lacked, and people will majorly would say, is that it was a bandit beater and things like that. It didn't have much story, but later on they really did add some more things to improve that, which was the Mugen train, obviously, which was pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie, and some other dungeons that they implemented in, and honestly it made the game thrive a little bit more. The game is actually still at 14K right now. It actually picked up. I feel like y'all should know why it picked up, obviously because of the Demon Slayer season and things like that after the episodes. Hey, I know y'all saw that Muzan or whatever you want to call it, I don't care. As of recently, they've been steaming up with some of the sneaks and progression on Project Slayers 2, which actually looks really nice. For sneak peeks, as you can see, he added some more stuff and some more concepts like these uniforms, which these uniforms actually looks pretty nice as long as they keep it into the old-fashioned style. I mean, it looks pretty nice though. I feel like this is something a samurai or a ninja would wear back then, but some people will beg to differ. He also has blood sickles and things like that, which I think with this clip he just added impact frames. As you can see, the quality and the environment of the map, actually I kind of like it. I kind of like how vibrant the colors look and things like that. I know a lot of people will like, you know, darker colors for Demon Slayer, but I think these colors actually really fits it, if I'm being honest with you. And as you can see, that was actually clean. But like I said, they have very vibrant maps, which I'm telling you, I personally really like this type of style. As you can see, they got the forest bit, which actually looks really nice. They got inside of a cave or something like that, and they got some, you know, villages and things like that. I always liked how Project Slayers looked for environments and things like that, because it wasn't really that bad. And plus, I felt like it wasn't as big as certain Demon Slayer games that they would be having, which the islands or something would be massive. Like they would just have so much terrain or so much fields of grass and things like that with open space, which just brought it to like wide. Now this is pretty blurry, but I'm just going to leave it like this for right now because, hey, whatever. I'm not even going to zoom in, but as you can see, they got pretty good animations. This is earth breathing. I said earth breathing, stone breathing, I mean. And it actually looks pretty nice. I'm pretty sure they have a cutscene for it. Oh my god, that's loud. But they do have a cutscene. And honestly, animations for Project Slayers, what I say, is it better than HinoKami? In a way, I would say yes. Don't get me wrong though, HinoKami's animations are pretty smooth, but I feel like Project Slayer's animations for their cutscenes and moves that grabs and things like that are way smoother. Hey, but we could make an argument about it on what y'all really feel about that, because that's just my opinion. And let me just skip a little bit so y'all could like see mostly how the VFX and stuff look. Y'all probably already saw this obviously, but I'm just kind of almost re-showing it again so y'all can see like the differences between the two. Now let me go to the animation. As you can see, this animation didn't have you know, frames, so yeah, that was just the animation without frames. They also have snake breathing, or serpent breathing, if you would like me to say, because some people actually didn't like me just saying snake breathing for some reason, even though it's basically snake breathing. And honestly, I really feel like Project Slayers gave snake breathing some justice, because like in other Demon Slayer games, it looked so weird to me. I'm not gonna lie, like it didn't have like the snake, and it was just like, I don't know, it was weird. Like I said again, they have some good animations. And this right here, this is pretty dope. You cannot tell me this animation right here does not go hard. Look at that. Flawless. Now we already know visually for Project Slayers, everything looks pretty nice with their GUIs and things like that, and the animations not being that bad. But there's one thing I want to talk about, which is the AI bosses. Now it has the typical AI where if they see you in their radius, they basically will try running towards you, start using any move to maybe slow you down or stun you, and then M1 you right after. Which this is a pretty standard NPC or AI, if I'm being honest, because almost every game kind of has that, where they just run towards you, try to get some M1s off, use the ability and things like that while you're trying to back up, either block or you dodge. They don't really dodge, they just run towards you, which is alright. But as you can see, HinoKami already has that number up for them. They already have that point because their AI, I'm about to pop it right now again, that we've seen before, their AI is actually, you know, it's pretty nice, where it looks like they're actually dodging your attacks and things like that, trying to time when to attack you, trying to avoid your attacks at the same process. I don't know if Project Slayers is going going to up their AI and make it better, but hopefully they do that, because honestly, but I mean, overall, I don't really see this harming the game regardless. Now, the overall gameplay wise for Project Slayers is pretty much simple. So you will see NPCs around and they mostly light up, and you can do some missions and talk to them. So like you could beat up some bandits for some levels and coins and things like that, or you could find an old man that wants you to push his wagon and things because he's too lazy to push it himself because he's a bum. Or you could end up finding a random shop where you can repair your sword and things like that. Or if you find one of these shops, they let you buy some blades on a wall if you haven't got them from boss drops or enemy drops, which you should get them, and they're not really that hard to obtain. Or you could pick up some rice and things like that. I mean, if you like this small simple gameplay right here, you can pick up some rice for gameplay and level up. Hey, that's one thing, but I'm joking. They also have way more than just this. This is just world 1, and part 2 of the world, they actually have way more things you could do. But obviously you should know the standard gameplay for Project Slayers. It's not really that bad. I wouldn't really say it's a downfall for it, but it could be somewhat better. But honestly, I can really give HinoKami some points for them having, you know, better atmosphere on some of their bosses too, and how their bosses also look and things like that, and how everything generally looks, and they have more attention to detail for their game. Project Slayers, they have some nice things like animations. Their, you know, maps and things are very vibrant, which I kind of like, but their AI and other things is kind of lacking. I feel like HinoKami is going to have like a great side of it where it shows like storyline and things. With Project Slayers, they don't really have that, but they do have it for like background games, basically like Mugen Train and things like that. So hey, I can't really say if HinoKami really dissed Project Slayers, but I really can say it looks pretty nice. But Project Slayers, a lot of people like this game, y'all gotta realize that, so it's going to have more people on Project Slayers. But overall, I feel like they can be both good games in the end.